if Spurs go on to win the Europa League this season, is that classed as a good season?
You know, you've told me kind of earlier today that we're going to sit down and talk about this, and
You've done some research.
I've kind of been a bit torn. Okay, I'm not. I'm coming at this completely on the cuff here.
Okay.
I'm really torn. Obviously, yes, as in they've not won something since 2008, since the League Cup. You know, European trophy. You know, I do look at West Ham United now a bit differently.
Yeah.
You know, the European winners. You know, and nothing can take that away.
That's true.
What they're doing in my lifetime now, you know, I will look at West Ham differently. This almost reminds me a little bit of the England in the Euros.
Okay.
There was a bittersweet to me thinking, if we did win this, we've played so poorly all the way through it. If we did win this, a trophy's a trophy, don't get me wrong, but it kind of would have felt a little bit tainted. And I think probably Spurs fans maybe feel like that. It's been a bad season for Spurs.
It has, but I agree with you. It might be a little bit tainted, but then the other side of that coin is, with how many injuries they've had, everything that's gone on off the pitch, everything that's gone on the pitch, the protests against Levy, whatever you say, I think it would kind of crown. I think it might feel a bit more sort of satisfying because of how difficult the season has been.
Over the odds of adversity.
Exactly, yeah. And I actually do think it's a successful season. I think Premier League-wise, they've obviously been absolutely dog and duck, but Ange has been going through the ringer. Let's be honest. He's had arguments with the crowd. He's had arguments with the media. He's not.
Well, they keep throwing that back in his face about I always win something in my second season.
Yes,
it would be quite funny if they won the Europa League.
Yeah, exactly. But then also it would be great if they did as well.
I think we talk about the injuries. I think a lot of other teams have thrown it back in Spurs' face and said, we've all got injuries. Spurs' injuries have been horrific.
Oh yeah.
And actually now they're starting to get players back, and obviously they spent quite a lot in January as well. Their squad is looking a lot better. You know, with having Danso and Romero, and they've got a little bit of depth coming back. But actually, in a kind of paradoxical kind of way, they've had to throw in a lot of youngsters. You know, like Jed Spence, Jed Spence, Archie Gray, Bergvall.
Yep.
They've had to throw these players in where they probably wouldn't have done if they had a full strength team. And now these players have got more Premier League experience. Actually, they've probably got a bit of a stronger squad if they can stay fit.
Yeah.
Overall,
I think it might benefit, not this season, but definitely in seasons to come. Bergvall and Gray getting minutes will definitely benefit the Spurs squad going forward.
And even Jed Spence as well. Jed Spence wouldn't have been in the squad. It wouldn't be in the starting lineup. I think he's probably might be their first choice right back.
He's been very good, hasn't he? He's been very good.
He's been playing both.
If they don't win the Europa League, do you think Ange should stay, or do you think he gets sacked?
I think there's a lot of patience that's gone with the Spurs fans. I think Spurs fans' biggest gripe is he has no plan B.
Okay.
But then I've watched a lot of teams over the years, and a lot of managers don't have a plan B. It's not necessarily. I think what did Marcelo Bielsa say? Plan A. If plan A doesn't work, make plan A better.
Yeah.
And I think there almost is a little bit of an element of that. I don't know how much. It's not been very good.
No,
I'm thinking about the losses to Ipswich when they hadn't won, the losses to Palace when Palace hadn't won. I think lost to Leicester as well when Leicester had. I think, is that Leicester's only win under
they've been bad, haven't they?
It's been really, really bad. Should he stay if they don't win? I think the next 10 games of the season, the final run in the season now, while he's got his full strength team back, I think that will determine kind of how if he starts kind of firing on all cylinders and they have a good end to the season, and Spurs fans can see kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Then yes, but I think if he's still kind of serving up the turgid football that has been. They've made mistakes in the transfer window. They've made mistakes with Son. I think I heard a Spurs fan say this on the radio. They just said something like, Fergie was really good at knowing when to shift the players on, just as they're coming over the hill. And I think someone said, with Son, when at 29, 30, he was on a bit of a downward trajectory. And instead they gave him a massive contract. They didn't want to lose him on a free. They've made him captain. I mean, let's be honest, Son Heung-min is not captain material.
No, he's past
He's
it,
not gonna get the team up. He's quite...
But then also some captains aren't like that. Some captains just do it on the pitch, but he hasn't done that side of it either. So it's like, what does he offer?
I mean, what do you think? Would you keep Ange if he
doesn't win the Europa League? No, I wouldn't. I think that the only way they end with some success this season because of how bad it's been in the Premier League. Let's say they win all the Premier League games, and that's not going to happen.
They're going to get to like 12th,
11th. They're not going to get into a good position or a healthy position to be like, oh, well, we were close to Europe, or we pushed Europe, or we could still get Europe. It is literally all on this Europa League.
And I think as well, I think that League Cup semi-final, that performance in the second leg at Anfield, that was like, you have losses, fair enough, but that was a statement loss.
Yeah,
you have statement wins. That was almost like a statement loss.
That was just like, we are just doing anything we can to try and get...
to not turn up. Especially after winning the first leg as well.
I know, it was. But they went with that mindset of, we need to just defend. There was no attack. There was no... It was poor. If Spurs don't win the Europa League, then who will win the Europa League? You've got Lazio in it. Frankfurt play Spurs. You've got... I tell you what, a bit of dog. Bodo Glimt, by the way. Bodo Glimt are good. Manchester United are in it. Leon are in it.
Bilbao and Rangers.
That's it. That's the other game, yeah.
I think Frankfurt are a very, very strong side. And I think that's almost one of the worst draws Spurs could have had. And I think Spurs, if I'm being, I've got this on camera, I can't see Spurs getting past Frankfurt over 2 legs. I just can't.
I think if they do, then they probably deserve to win.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Frankfurt, they lost Mamouche in January as well. He was top goal scorer in the Bundesliga with Kane. He's been a big loss. He looks like a good player, doesn't he? He looks like a real good player. Who's going to win it? It's so hard. I think Lazio's still in it.
Yeah, Lazio are in it. They've got Bodo Glimt.
Lazio looks strong as well this year. It's much of a muchness, really, isn't it?
I think Manchester United could do it.
Well, I mean, they've got to be favourites, surely.
They're unbeaten in Europe, aren't they? I don't think they've been beaten in the whole of... They're the only club in the whole of every European competition.
To be beaten them.
No, maybe Chelsea have as well, but that doesn't count in the Conference League with that super team they've got.
I mean, that's the most mismatched tournament
ridiculous.
I've ever seen for them. I'd love it. Can Rangers and Man United play? Because it's all mapped out now, isn't it? Can they play each other in the final?
Yes.
I mean, that'd be my final.
No. I think Man United play Spurs if they both
win. Is that a semi-final?
I think so. I think so. And then Bodo Glimt and Lazio play the winner.
Do you know what?
Athletic Bilbao.
The way the Spurs and Man United have had very, very similar seasons, I think, in terms of like the money they've spent as well, the players they've got. It's been a very, very similar season for both. Been very, very disappointing for both. I mean, Ruben Amorim. I know we're not doing Spurs, but there's something about Spurs against Man United in the semi-finals that would just be loser loses all.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be the final. That would be the best.
No,
final.
because over 2 legs that's almost better. Just like I remember like Chelsea, Arsenal in the semi-final of the Champions League, and like Liverpool, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Like over the years. All English, all British semi-finals. They're just great. We haven't had them for so long.
That is true. And then what will the other one be? Rangers
against
Lazio,
something like that.
I feel like Bilbao aren't bad though.
I think it's a really tough task.
Yeah.
Rangers, out of all the British teams, they're the team that can spring a surprise the most. I did not think they'd beat Fenerbahce.
Me neither.
At all.
But it was the away fixture that surprised me.
Yeah.
The home one didn't because they bottled it and then won on penalties.
They got lucky on that.
Yeah,
but so it was the away one that did it. I think, I don't know, it's tough. I think what Levy's doing, Levy's going, we can't just keep on rinse and repeat. We can't just keep sacking and hiring and going and starting all over again because, let's be honest, they spent a lot of money on players in January and in the summer. And I think almost like, if I was Levy, I'd almost be sticking with him for a lot more. But then Man United did this with Ten Hag when they shouldn't have done. And obviously then that cost Dan Ashworth's job. It cost Ten Hag's job overall. It's a tough one, really. You don't want to keep seeing managers sacked, but at the same time, you don't want to keep flogging a dead horse, and I don't know whether Angie's the dead horse. What a terrible analogy that is.
Whilst we're on Spurs, obviously lovely shirts and displays in the background.
Really
I know,
nicely.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's nicely. Why have you set all these shirts up, Jack?
We've got a
shameless promotion.
Yeah, we've got a biggest ever Spurs competition on our site at the moment with loads of signed shirts from players, loads of, I think there's a dual frame in there. I think there's some load of custom frames as well. Hospitality tickets. So whilst we've got you, head over to footballprizes.co.uk, and if you're a Spurs fan, get yourself entering this because this is some serious prize.
And also, not just Spurs, we've got every club as well. Well, pretty much nearly every club, all on massive prizes as well. So yeah, happy to check out on there. But yeah, shameless little plug there. Thank you, Jack, for sticking that.
No problem.
So yeah, yes or no? Is it a good season if he wins? Yes.
Yes.
Should he stay if he loses?
No.
Both in agreement?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Happy days.
Thank you.